Okay, so what is happening here? Oh, okay. Oh, oh, okay. Okay. So let us see. This is the. Let me talk about the SDLC first. So, so let me open my drawing board. Okay. So whenever there is a uh, software is developed, so that is called the SDLC cycle, software development life cycle. In software development life cycle, basically what happens? Your software, which is we call the product, is to be developed, and wha- whenever we are creating a product, we take the requirement from the customer. So customer gives the requirement. So once you get the requirement, after you convert it into the, say, let me open the notepad, that will be good. So first we get in the SDLC, we get the requirement. So as soon as you get the requirement, you convert it into a functional requirement. So functional requirement is nothing but you convert it according to your business, and after that you create a design. And once you create a design, then you basically create the user stories or test cases. And once it is converted into user stories, it gives to the developer for coding. Okay, for the developer to the coding. And after coding is done, then it is to be tested. And after testing is done, then it is to be moved to production. And once it is moved to production, it is to be monitored. And this is continuous integration, means actually it is should be repeatedly. If there is a new task comes, again this life cycle we need to follow. So here the story is that there was previously, there are different methodologies we use, like waterfall model. In waterfall model, what we were doing, customer gives the requirement at day one. So day one, when customer gives the requirement. And once the design is final, after that there is no role of the customer, and he can only see once it is moved to production. So say day 40. So customer comes into the picture, he sees the output and he says, no, I need little bit more changes. Then in the waterfall model methodology, people says, no, it is not possible. This was properly designed in the beginning. We have shown you, you approved it. Yeah, I approved it, but now it is 40 or 60 days. Now the trend is changed. I want, in my competitors, they are using product, this feature in this product. If I don't use that feature, then it will be a loss for me. Okay, we will make the changes, but again, it's a new requirement. We need to follow the complete life cycle. Again, you have to wait, say, 1 to 30 days or 1 to 20 days, because we need someone to make the changes. It is to be properly tested and everything. And customer get frustrated. He says, why you, because of your process, my delivery get delayed. So, but the software companies, they are saying, no, this is the process. We need to follow that. All right. Customer is unhappy or not or frustrated, but what he also can do, he has a lot of documentation basically here. So documentation means if because we need to have a approval on each step. If the customer gives something, design is to be approved by the customers, user stories, everything is in a documentation. And which was as a developer or as a operational engineer or as a technical person, you always try to get rid of this documentation. You need something which is automatically get created. Means if it is a documentation, okay, documentation is required, but writing in MS Word document all the time, this thing, let's find some alternate. So like the feedback of the customer or some collection. So for that, we were having the agile methodology. Do you aware of agile methodology? Oh, great. Uh, That's good. So, oh, so now you know that there is a Scrum Master, there is sprint, there are daily meetings, right? And yeah, so here on day one, customer gives the requirement. Okay, customer gives the requirement. And then, say an example, it is day 10. Customer, the user stories is being created and given to the developer. Now, developer, what it is doing? Developer is contacting to the customer or client, and he's saying that I have developed one page out of 10 pages. Can you give me the feedback? And client gives the feedback. Okay, this is fine. This is absolutely fine. Oh no, I need some changes. So everything that feedback is basically goes back to the developer. The code is maybe in the staging. Developer makes the changes accordingly, takes the feedback, and that feedback is the documentation for the developer. So developer, so say an example, we are creating a Gmail kind of application. So first login page. So that login page is the feedback. Okay, so he takes, or maybe multiple developers are working, right? And one of the developer is saying, I have created the login page. So he just knocks the door of the customer by saying that, can you see this? It is in the staging. Oh, and if it is okay, then at least we can move this particular part into the production. And customer sees, he gives the feedback, developer makes the changing. So now customer is happy. Why? Because customer is participating. He get involved during the development time. Because ultimately that development we are doing for the customer, and customer is having the interaction with the developer who is developing the product, and he can give his suggestions or if some feature is not required. So these things he can directly communicate to the developer, and developer says, okay, I will make the changes. After making the changes, he does the test, and that particular page move to the production. So there are scrum master, there are product owner, there are a lot of people get involved into that. Ultimately, my product goes into the production because we are not moving entire project in one shot. So the life cycle of this is 7 to 10 days, right? So tomorrow, if customer says that I need a change, so again, same process will be followed. Again, developer. This is very means once it moves to production, again customer gives its feedback. And similar way that same thing happen. We move, we cut down our project into the small projects, and then we start working on it. Now, if here is a little bit problem. The problem is that now if the user is or if the customer is asking that I want to change the title of a web page, my company name gets changed. So for now, just can you change the title of my these 3 pages? So you can say, okay, we can do it. Again, it will 7 to 10 days it will take, or maybe minimum 7 days. We will make the changes. So he says, no, I need a 3 pages with title is to be changed. That should be quick. That should be in hours. Why you are saying that it takes 1 week? So so then can we make it something better so that this process should be faster? Then the concept of DevOps comes into the market. So what is the DevOps? First of all, you need to know that DevOps is a process. DevOps is not a tool. DevOps is we use the tool, but DevOps is a process. It's a methodology, same as your waterfall methodology or same as your agile methodology. Okay. So in the DevOps process, basically what happens? The things which we are taking the requirement, functional requirement, or user stories or developer, whatever it's happening, everything is automated. So the main concentration in the DevOps is the automation. Especially the automation start from the planning. After plan, the coder is write to the code. Coder move the code into the repository, GitHub repository. And then the code is to be built. And once the code is to be built, then code is to be tested. Once code is tested, then virtual machine or containers to be created. Once container is to be created, container should be the orchestrated, means there is a proper order. Once it is orchestration, then the containers configuration management, if there is any configuration management is to be changed, configuration management is to be changed, means if there is any software or anything is required. Once it is done, then deploy the code. Once it is deployment is over, then monitor. So this is basically the things which we are doing. And this should be very quick because of that tools. Like we have the tools GitHub for the code repository, Maven for the build, Selenium for the testing, Docker for the container, Kubernetes for the orchestration, Ansible and Puppet or Chef for the configuration management, uh, and for deployment. Yeah, right. That's right. These were there, but these were not in the standard, or it was not a process. But now with the DevOps, it is a process. See, these most of the tools were developed in 2000. Yeah, most of the tool, if you see, it was developed in 2005, 2010. But so these tools were there, but people were not using because no one has defined something called DevOps kind of thing. Right. Yeah. Right. Yes. Okay. So no. So so the main purpose of this. So the main purpose of DevOps is to make the thing automate. Okay. To make the thing automate. And to make the thing automate, see what is everyone's target who is working in the company to to have a customer satisfaction, right? So for customer satisfaction, we basically see before Scrum, when you did the Scrum, what is the purpose? Why we are having daily meeting? Why we are dividing our uh, product into the task? So because we can deliver the product as soon as possible, right? So right, right. So same concept we are using. We are now trying to move as fast as possible. So here it is 7 to 10 days, but if we apply the automation, it is in days, means one to 2 days or 3 days, something like that, or maybe hours. Okay, so it does not matter that I need to learn a tool, but ultimately the goal which we want to achieve, whether it is achievable by opting this particular process or not. So that is the thing. Understood? So for right, right, yes. So now it is in hours or days, right? So now customer is very happy. Now the customer is saying, I want to change the title because everything is automate. Coder basically giving the changing the code. He push the code into the repository GitHub. It will be automatically built, or it is automatically tested. Automatically tested means it is testing the previous functionalities as well and the new functionality. And this is because it's a scripting. So you need not to worry about that, whether I missed some of the test cases or not. So then uh, then containers, right? So it moved to containers are nothing but virtual machines, and then orchestration, everything will be automatic. There will be an approval. So it means title change. If it is a medium level project, title change means within an hour I have made the changes and moved to production. And if you see our any methodology like agile or waterfall methodology, if you want to move any code into production, it's a at least you need to create the documentation, you need to prove it, it takes time, right? So here it is not taking time. Yes. So minimum 7 to 10 days. Yeah. Yeah. So in DevOps world, there is a term which we call the artifacts. So artifacts is nothing but it is a proof. So we are the person who is giving the approval in the end. He wants to see the proof, and we can give the proof with the help of these automation tools. We can say, okay, see, this is the artifact of the testing. This is the artifact of the other thing. So please approve it. And because it's a automatic process, So approval is very easy. Okay, so he can see the report basically. He can see the report by saying that, okay, this code was changed, this code was implemented, this is tested, so everything is artifacted, and he can easily give the approval and move to the production. Now, the question is that if this course is dedicated to Jenkins, Shri, you have any question? Okay, so you already had, right? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so we probably today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday. So tomorrow we will install Jenkins on our one of the server. So Aruna, how you are going to implement that? Means, do you have virtual machines? How it will be? Okay. Okay. What I will do, I'm sharing one of the video which is recorded by me. So you can go through that video. It means from starting, it is something how to create the account. Okay, and it is free of course for one year. You need to install some of the software like Putty. You need to install. Okay, so let me just go through that where it is. Where it is this. So you can go to, okay, so that is almost 1 hour tutorial. But if you go through this, you can easily create a virtual machine. And for 1 year, it is free. You noted down this, just copy paste. You just copy paste this. You, I just sent this on the chat window. Just copy it. Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, great. Okay. Okay. So now, right. Right, right. So yeah, if you create the account, that will be easy for me to start the next, because if you want to practice side by side, you can do that. Okay. So so here the question is that when we are talking about Jenkins, why when we are talking about Jenkins, why I had given you the introduction of the DevOps, because Jenkins is the part of the this process. See, these tools, whatever the tools we are using, GitHub, Maven, Selenium, Docker, all these tools are individual tools. Now I want to make this process. So I want to make a process which is called CI, continuous integration and continuous delivery. Then I need something called a continuous integration tool. And that tool is Jenkins, TeamCity. TeamCity is mostly used for the Windows-based applications. Jenkins is used for all the applications. And TeamCity is, I believe, it's a chargeable, and Jenkins is freeware, open source, developed in Java. So let us talk about Jenkins now. So what the Jenkins say, the leading open source automation server, Jenkins provides hundreds of plugins to support building, deploying, and automating any project. So what it means that Jenkins is basically an open source which does the automation, and Jenkins provides Some plugins. What type of plugins? Say an example, you want to connect your code to GitHub, GitHub to Maven, Maven to Selenium, all these things I want to do. So for that, what I'm doing, I'm using some plugin in Jenkins. So it is a plugins which is building and deploying. So this entire process, if you want to make it automate, so Jenkins plays a very important role. So this is the official website for the Jenkins. If you want to go, https://jenkins.io, and this is the symbol they are using for the Jenkins. So let us see something about this. So there is a term which we use, continuous integration. So what is continuous integration? In continuous integration, there are different developers who are working on their code. So this is their laptop or their means local system. And from their local system, they are storing the data into the GitHub. Do you know what is GitHub? Right, right. So, yeah. Oh, okay. So here the users, they are pushing their code into the source control, or sometimes they are taking the latest code. So that's why two arrows. Now these users or these developers, once they write their code, that should go into the build or test. Means it is to be the code which is in the GitHub. It is to be built. It is to be tested automatically. Then Jenkins is playing a role here. And after that, what is the feedback? Feedback means whether your all the results are fine, whether it is built successful, it is tested successful, or there are some bugs. The feedback goes back to the developers. This process is called continuous integration. This process is called continuous integration. So continuous integration is a development practice that requires developers to integrate code into shared repositories several times a day. Each check-in is then verified by an automated build, allowing teams to detect the problems early. By integrating regularly, you can detect the errors quickly and locate them more easily. Got it? Why continuous integration is required? If developer do not commit the changes on the regular basis, the code changes has to be integrated and tested manually. So everything is to be done manually, which is a very it's not a automatic job in that case. Yes, not efficient. That's right. So if developers commit the changes on regular basis, like daily or weekly, and build script compiles the code and runs the test script automatically, then on regular basis the integration happens, but still it is not completely continuous integration, because changes get compiled on regular basis, not immediately. And in case of build failure, the notification sent back to the developer. So basically what I'm trying to say, so say an example, you have scheduled a job which is to be executed 5 p.m. daily. Okay. And if once same thing means there is 5 p.m. a job will run, and that job will build, test, and send the feedback to the developer. But it is not the continuous integration, because it is not immediately. If something immediately comes, that is called continuous integration. If you push a code into the GitHub, uh, the build process automatically happens and testing automatically happens, and you get back the response. If such thing is happened, then it is called continuous integration. If you scheduled it, it is not fully I will say CI or continuous integration, because here I need to wait for some time. But continuous integration means immediately. So that is why we need CI process, means whenever developer commits the code into the source control, it should be immediately built, and in case of failure, it sends the notification to the developer. Got it? What are the advantages of the CI? Goodbye to long and tense integration. Increase the visibility, enabling greater communication, because now you are means everything, there is nothing hidden, because everything comes with some report that okay, this process is done successful, this process is done successful. So everything is visible to the approver. Means he can easily see and he can easily say that okay, I can approve it. Catch the issue earlier, right? Because the developer he is not waiting for the testing team for days or hours and hours. Now the tester has created the script, so now the developer can write the code and he can push the code into the GitHub, automatically build, automatically tested, and he get back the response. Okay, so he can catch the issues early. Now spend less time for spend less time for debugging and more time on adding more features. So because with the help of continuous integration, we can move the code uh, more, means we instead of waiting this time, we are waiting for the testing, we are waiting for tester is waiting for the coder. So instead of that, if because it is automated, now we are spending less time on debugging. We are now we can use that particular time for adding new features. Now this what is continuous delivery? So continuous delivery is after everything is fine in the continuous integration. Now your code is to be moved to the staging or UAT server or in production. Okay. So when your code moves into the staging or UAT server or production, that concept is called delivery. Means your code is tested properly, automatically it will go to the staging or production. So that concept is called continuous delivery. And when we are talking about continuous deployment, so continuous deployment is your code is moving to the production. Got it? There is no UAT or no SIT server. It is directly moving to the production. Then it is called deployment. So the difference between delivery and deployment is that in the delivery, it can move to the staging or UAT server. But in the continuous deployment, it is production only. Okay, so to achieve this continuous delivery and continuous integration to continuous delivery or deployment, we use the Jenkins. So these are the minimum hardware requirement. You should have 256 MB of RAM, 1 GB of the hard disk space. So 10 GB is recommended if you are using Jenkins as a Docker. 1 GB recommended version is that 1 GB RAM, 50 GB space, and Java 8 is to be installed. Okay. So, okay. So now our next step is to install the Jenkins on our system. You do one thing, I think Shri's email I have. So can you give me your email ID? So I will share this video with you because they just, yeah. So I will share this video with you and rest of the thing we will discuss tomorrow. So meanwhile, you can go through that video and try to create one EC2 instance. Yes, yes, yes. So I will keep it into one GitHub repository. I will share that. So tomorrow we will join with the same meeting ID, means not mine, the one they are having. Okay, we will join over there. If there is, if they don't make me presenter, then we will come to the other one. We will talk over there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Bye. Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.